Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Happy 4th of July. We are having a Friday day live stream. I'm a little bit late today, but that's because I had to get the outfit on. What do you guys think? Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very exciting live stream today as always. The crypto market is trending down as always. No, I'm just playing. We're actually having a little bit of a pullback today, but nobody should be too surprised as it is a holiday weekend. People are dumping out of the market in order to get enough money for fireworks for the 4th of July. Good morning, Reader. Good morning, C90. How's it going, Wild Africa? Welcome into the live stream. I am amped up and ready to go because despite the pullback going on in the market right now, we are still well within the normal range, aka the circle that has been guiding this market for the last 3 or 4 months. Things are looking pretty good. We're having just a healthy, normal chop sideways at literally all-time highs. So what more can you ask for? Market's getting wound up and ready to explode. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about decentralized science. We're going to go through the market, but ultimately, we're just going to have a good live stream as you guys get ready to have the 4th of July celebrations. If you do celebrate, I know we have a vast array of people here. Patrick is wearing his Minions outfit. That means Bill is Guru, right? Yes, indeed. Bill is in charge here. He runs the show, quite literally. Why do I have CapCut open? It's going to end up crashing my computer, pulling way too much. Yes. Things are looking pretty just standard, guys. Bitcoin dominance going up just a little bit. We have Bitcoin itself going down a little bit, which means Ethereum and everything else is going down a lot of bit. The total crypto market cap, if we go ahead and zoom in just a little, is having the same type of downward momentum that Bitcoin is having. It's a little bit more steep of a downtrend. So it is potential that Bitcoin might have broken out here or had a little bit of a false breakout. We could be headed back down to the bottom of the range, but there is no guarantee there. Again, as of yesterday, the liquidation zones were not super clear on what direction we were going to go. So you got to take it with a grain of salt. But we have very exciting things changing on the fundamental level here in the United States, at least. And that is the big, beautiful bill getting passed. The big, beautiful bill. Yes, Trump's plan to spend an additional like $10 trillion or some crap like that is getting passed here. So it just passed the House and the Senate. It is now going to Trump's desk in order for him to vote on it. And we all know he's going to say yes to his own bill. So you can expect that to be passed. And then we will have extra money sloshing around in the economy moving forward. Who knows what the long-term implications of this are actually going to have, but it is in standard process of the United States government to spend more money. That is basically the motto. Anytime there's a question to be had, the United States is like, what if we just printed a little bit more extra cash, which is in big part a reason why we're seeing the dollar falling off a cliff, literally just going straight down since Trump took office. Because his entire strategy is to make the dollar weaker so that other countries will come trade with the United States. Having a nice sip of water here. If you guys plan on drinking today, make sure that you guys fill up as much as humanly possible with water. C90 doesn't have an XP label. Whack. It is kind of crazy. C90 be banned. No, C90 is shadow banned from having an XP label, despite being the only person to consistently donate to the channel. So you have an honorary XP level. WC90. We'll see what ends up happening to the dollar over the long term because of this, but we all can reasonably assume the dollar is just going to continue to trend down because that is what the dollar does. Every currency, every fiat currency continues to trend down. One piece of exciting information that I saw, I don't think I saved it, but I saw that there was an individual miner who just managed to mine a block on Bitcoin's chain, meaning they got that 3.25 Bitcoin reward, meaning they just got $300-something thousand, literally won the mini lottery here, because it is not often that you see individual miners winning blockchain blocks for Bitcoin. In fact, it is incredibly rare. So there's a chance for all of us out here There is a chance. Honorary XP label for heading to my resume right now. Oh God. Okay, now, one very exciting thing that all of you guys should be paying attention to is the creator bid momentum that is going on in the market right now. We just saw BNB Chain comment GBid on a creator bid post. So creator bid really catching eyes from everyone. We already know they have that connection to Binance Chain, BNB, as they were the first coin to go through the new launchpad for Binance Chain. But this is exciting to see because it is bringing some validation into everyone's expectations. So things are moving along quite nicely for creator bid. If we go look at BID's chart right now, you'll see it's going through a little bit of a pullback, but that is in part because it just rallied like 20% over the span of a day, and it's up like 300% over the span of a couple weeks. This last little correction here though is a little bit steeper than I think anyone was expecting. It's not breaking too far below, like we've had it break below 2 other times and continue this uptrend, but it is currently breaking below the trend line that it's had for quite some time. I might have just had that trend line a little bit too tight, because ultimately as long as it continues to put in higher lows, then the uptrend is still intact. But we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening with creator bid. The V2 for their launchpad is coming out very shortly, so I would expect some extra excitement to come in. Welcome into the live stream, MK. Welcome. I also wanted to pull up that there are a few other crypto bills that are getting passed here, or at least the hopes are that they will be getting passed shortly. So the US Republicans declare crypto week to mull over 3 crypto bills. Right now we have the big beautiful bill obviously going through right now. It should replace any moment. Then we also have the Clarity Act, the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act, the ACSSA, or the AS bill, and then the Genius Act, which is very clear guidelines for stablecoin regulation. I've not read into the Clarity Act before, so I'm going to take a moment to try and find some information on that. And then the Anti-CBDC bill is pretty clear, if you ask me. It shouldn't take a brain surgeon to see what that is. Fun fact, Florida has already passed anti-CBDC legislation, and that is a really good thing to see that the government is not trying to spy any more than they already are. To think that this is going to give us any kind of security is kind of crazy though. It just stops them from cutting off the funds super easily, but they can still cut people off from the financial system. They do it every day. Okay, let's go ahead and read through real quick. So the House is seemingly moving ahead with the Senate-led Genius Act over its own similar bill known as the Stable Act, which the House Finance Committee passed in May but has yet to see a full floor vote. The Senate passed the Genius Act with bipartisan support last month, meaning if the House passes the bill as is, it will be sent to Trump to sign into law. However, legal analyst at Pillsbury Law said on Wednesday that the House could amend key provisions, including those related to the issuer eligibility, state federal oversight dynamics, and compliance requirements. We'll see if it passes. I'm sure something like this will pass because we know that stablecoins provide such a buyer for the treasury market in the United States. They just want to have that clarity for people to continue forward with it. Speaking of clarity, I'm going to try and find out some more information here about the Clarity Bill. A crypto market structure bill called the Clarity Act could be the next on Trump's desk after the House Financial Services Committee and Agricultural Committee advanced it on June 10th to put it before the full House. The bill, which still needs to pass the Senate, stipulates the jurisdiction that the Securities and Exchange Commission and Commodities Future Trading Commission have over crypto. It would require most types of crypto exchanges to register with the CFTC and lays out rules for disclosure, customer asset segregation, and record keeping. So this would be a really good legislation bill to pass, but honestly, I hope it doesn't pass. My rationality behind that is that crypto is a new asset entirely. It's not a commodity. It's not a security. It is a brand new digital asset, which means it needs a new commission to look over the legislation and the regulations for cryptos and digital assets. We don't just need to mold it into the CFTC or as a commodity. We need to create brand new legislation that has a brand new commission to watch over crypto. I don't know that that'll end up happening, and so this bill is better than the SEC getting their hands over crypto, but it is not what I would like to see in a perfect world. Either way, it's moving the industry forward, so I support to some extent. I enjoy the idea of getting the CFTC on board with crypto because they're a lot more lenient than the SEC is. So we could see Pump Fund continue to scam the industry, that kind of fun stuff. We'll see. And then, of course, the ban on CBDCs, which we don't really need to read much of because it's pretty clear what's going on there. No surveillance state on your money, although they already do survey everything. Okay. If we go ahead and scroll through some of the DeSci news, I'm sure you guys are amped up and ready to see. Banks in the US are closed today. Crypto works for you every day. Bullish. Let's go, Brian Armstrong. C90 says, I agree with you, Patrick. I heard an argument if making Bitcoin into a digital real estate yesterday, so 1031 exchange could be used to roll into Bitcoin and back to real estate. It won't happen, but that'd rip. Yeah, that would be crazy. That would actually be one of the craziest things to see. If they classified Bitcoin as a real estate entity, right? Whatever it is, digital real estate, that would be nuts. I feel personally that Ethereum has a better odds of being digital real estate because you can actually buy and build on top of Ethereum. You can build on top of Bitcoin a little bit, but it's not really ideal. It would be crazy though, because you're right. If you could do a 1031 exchange and sell a house and exchange it for Bitcoin and not pay taxes on the capital gains from that house into Bitcoin, use Bitcoin as a holding place before you go buy more houses, that would absolutely drive up demand for Bitcoin, and with lots of money. That would be a lot of money, because I'm curious how much money flows through 1031 exchanges in a given year. I don't know that kind of a search is really going to be great, but it's so for anyone who doesn't know, it's when you sell a property and then you put it into some sort of a trust or a fund, and you have 45 days to find another property to put that money into so that you don't pay taxes on it. That would be crazy if they classified Bitcoin as a real estate vehicle so that you could have longer than 45 days. But purchasing within 180 days of the sale, the investor purchases the replacement property using the funds held by the QI, the qualified intermediary. I think it'd make more sense to make Bitcoin a qualified intermediary, right? But I don't think we'll be able to see the exact amount of volume that goes through 1031 exchanges. How much value goes through 1031 exchange yearly? It's a question that's probably not being worded correctly. If anyone has a better way to word this, it would be appreciated. Okay, right here. The FEA estimates that around $100 billion worth of real estate assets were exchanged through the 1031 exchanges in 2019. So I imagine that's growing. It's a rough estimate there, but $100 billion of volume, right? Because whenever you're dealing with an asset, You look at supply and demand. Supply is fixed, 21 million. Demand is the variable, which is best represented by volume, in my opinion. And so if you could boost the volume by $100 billion in a year, or even if you only get like 10 or 20% of that volume to go through, you're boosting the volume just a little bit. It's like adding another micro strategy to Bitcoin to some extent, right? Because but not even because this would be just for short-term exchanges, right? It'd be interesting. I like the idea. I really do. They don't push it because then the elites would have to pay taxes on the 1031s. True. True. All right, let's look through DeSci news just a little bit. I like Molecule taking all these clips and posting them. It's good, just get more volume out there, more posts. Are students really learning or just passing classes? It's a good question. The answer is that they are just trying to pass classes because of the same type of idea that Research Hub had posted about a couple months ago, in which if you create a system where you pass based off of milestones and certain metrics, KPIs being hit, then the objective no longer becomes to pass, the objective becomes to hit those milestones. And so in school, you pass, you graduate if you get an A or B or C or whatever. If you get a C, C's get degrees, right? You graduate if you get a C. So the objective is no longer to learn the subject, the objective is to get the C. And you can get the C just by taking classes and memorizing information for short-term periods, right? So it's an interesting thought. Let's keep on scrolling. Speaking of Research Hub Foundation, environmental scientists, public health experts, and data analysts, this offers for you. How safe is the tap water? Adam Draper is funding an independent study to find out. With up to $100,000, we're looking for researchers with expertise in environmental science, public health, urban infrastructure, and/or data analytics to test water in major U.S. cities or top campuses for microplastics, fluoride, and other overlooked contaminants. Sus. I like this idea though. $50,000 to $100,000 from Adam Draper just to probably have fun with it. Happy 4th, Crypto Focus. Welcome to the live stream. Happy 4th indeed. It's an interesting study. I think it's something I'm curious on because I drink filtered tap water, right, out of a glass jar as much as I can. But ultimately, I know that the water that's pumping my tap water through the faucet is plastic piping. So I'm sure I'm cooked no matter what. You can't really escape them. Every breath I take. I mean, even the outfit I'm wearing right now, I doubt, like, this is definitely not pure cotton, which means there's probably polyester in here. So every time I do this, little microplastics are fluffing off of it. And then when I breathe in, I'm getting those in my body. So it is literally impossible to escape the microplastics, but it's okay. We want to reduce them as much as we can because they are endocrine disruptors, meaning your hormones, making hormones. You can't do it as good when you got microplastics in the brain. Let's keep scrolling though. Happy Independence Day. W. Hairdow. Germany's National Academy of Science just said out loud, aging should be a medical target. Longevity science is no longer niche. The world is finally catching up because why wait to treat age-related diseases when you can treat aging itself? Retweet. Love it. Oh, Rejuve out here. Be honest. How do you spot the next token worth aping into? Gut feeling, team background, crazy community vibes? Or do you do deep dive into the white paper, audit history first? Tell us your process. We want to hear your best tips. Nobody commented on it because nobody wants to give up the secret sauce. Curious what you guys think though. When you're looking for the next token, the next project to ape into, how do you determine? Because over the last 3 years, the way I've done it has changed quite drastically. Honestly, there is just an element of a gut feeling to it. There always is. Personally, I go through, I look, you get a gut feeling about a project. You're like, this is something that I think could take off. Then you look into it for a moment and you try and check out the community, see if it's strong. Then you look into it and give a little bit of information on what the project's doing. And then the last thing is looking at the team background. And if all things check off, then I feel like I'd jump into it. But ultimately, a lot of it is looking at the vibes, looking at the market. Do they have an attention wave coming? What is this? Origin Ale. What is this? Origin Trail just came out with an Origin Ale. Make sure you keep yourself hydrated and on track with developments and adoption updates going on in the month of July. That's fascinating. I'm kind of curious to see if they actually did come out with a drink. Maybe not. Got to pay attention to the KOLs to see if they can get some traction. Yeah, that is a part of it for sure. That's kind of the social side of it, right? They want to see some people talking about it. Oh, there's our good friend Bill here. Biotech research is bottlenecked not by science, but by licensing lawyers and endless NDAs. DeSci open sources R&D and turns IP into fuel, not friction. Love to see it. There's 5 comments. I'm curious who's talking about it. You got a Mellow AI, another AI agent out here. See, you're on social media, you come across a project, you see they have a ticker, and you look to see your AI companion for mental wellness. We'll go ahead and hit the follow button on it. It is launched by Virtuals. First thing I like to do is see if it has already rugged. So we go over here. We go look at the chart. You see the market cap, see if it's already rugged, see what's going on. $169,000 market cap. And it has already looking like it has rugged. So had that initial spike, and now it is slowly getting drained of the liquidity from this AI agent. You go look at some of the engagement, and you can see back in May when they made the announcement, it got lots of engagement, but now 6 hours ago, it's only getting 5 likes. So clearly not as exciting for people as it once was. They're continuing to post though, but that's on an automation. Not interested, but I followed them. And if I see them start to pop up again, then I know maybe things are coming back to life a little bit. Today, July 4th, 12 p.m. EDT, so 37 minutes ago, they were having a round table with Circular Protocol and some DeSci fanatics like Ed, like Andrew, like, I can't read his name, Jar, and David. Aledo Biosciences having a 2.6x jump in the signal quality. Nice. Good on them. Yeah, all right. So it seems like most people are not delivering any crazy news today, which is good. That's fine. There's not really the market to do it. Nobody's going to be online today because it is the 4th of July. People are taking that long holiday weekend. What do you guys think? How do you guys feel about this market? Do you think that we'll be able to find support above the downtrend here? Ideally today we'd get Bitcoin to close above 108.4. If we can get Bitcoin to close above 108.4, I feel like it'll have tested this as support and proven that it is in fact moving upwards. We'll see. If you go look at the weekly time frame, the weekly chart is looking pretty healthy still. So again, if we could flip this week and close the week out at like 109, I think it'll be a really strong hammer candle, which should continue the uptrend, the momentum higher. Time will tell. Either way, you look at this consolidation period on the weekly chart, and for the most part, we're consolidating above the previous all-time highs. So that is a very strong contender for the move higher. But none of you guys care about that. All you guys care about is others. Yeah. Not looking great. But on a little bit of a separate note, did you guys see Robinhood? Did you guys see that you can now purchase pre-public coins. Hold on, let me say that a little bit better. Did you guys see that on Robinhood, you can now buy tokenized versions of assets that are not yet publicly traded? So think OpenAI. Moving forward, there will be some private companies that some insiders have gained shares to, right? If you work for OpenAI, you likely have some vested stock in the company. You can now sell that stock to Robinhood. Robinhood will tokenize it on their own blockchain they just made and allow for people to purchase the pre-IPO privately traded companies through their platform, which is crazy. How nuts is that? So now people will be able to use Robinhood's app to go trade pre-IPO companies. That's a crazy thing to see. Like Robinhood continuing out here to absolutely shift the investment markets. I'm sure some of you guys have seen it, but look at how crazy of a rally Hood has been on. Hood went all the way up to $100 here recently from the lows back here in the depths of that bear market of $6 in 2022. 2 years, 3 years later, it's up at $100. That is a crazy run for a very, very strong company. Honestly, I want this in my portfolio, but not at these elevated prices. I'm curious to see how high it can rally before we get some sort of a pullback. You see, I'm just kidding. I don't know what it's going to look like. I want it though. Let's look at D-Wave. D-Wave having that next push. It's looking healthy, guys. D-Wave is looking very healthy on the weekly time frame, even on the daily time frame. It's looking like it's trying to gear up some steam here to push higher. So D-Wave sitting at $16. One of those companies that we should have been buying into. But I think that D-Wave is like going through a bit of a bubble phase right now. I think that people are excited about it, but D-Wave has not yet turned profitable, so I wouldn't expect this rally to maintain for a very long time. Can it go higher? Absolutely. I think that the way that people will value quantum in the future, like this is still a steal of a price to get in on these companies at, but they're pre-profit, right? And so before a company can turn to a profitable business model, none of the rallies are super sustainable. So the rally can continue and it can go much, much, much higher than where it is right now. And I think it will. But don't think that this is going to maintain forever because they're still not at a profitable stage in the business model. And I don't think that they'll hit profitability, honestly, this decade. I don't think they'll be able to get to that consistently profitable business model until probably 2030s roll around. So in the next 5 years or so, meaning this rally at some point will probably dissipate and they'll have like a 60-70% crash. So just be cautious with these types of things because again, the rally can keep going for a very, very long time, but before they hit profitability, it's not likely to be sustained. I like the company though. I like what they're doing. I think that they've got a bright future if they can continue to deliver on it. A lot of criticism though, just like Dynex. Lots and lots of criticism. Oh man, look at that pain. This is not something that I would have loved. Like I wish that I had waited to dump like 30 grand into it. My average cost probably up around like 13-12 cents or something. I wish I'd waited. Could have tripled my position, quadrupled my position had I waited a little bit. But time in the market beats timing the market, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes not. I still firmly believe Dynex has a very bright future ahead of it, but this pain is pain. Oh, crack the back. Ugh. Let's see. What else are you guys interested in? The global monetary supply continuing to push higher. Would love to see this thing have a downtrend for a little bit. A little bit of a dip would be nice, but we're just pushing. Currently, I think the crypto market's in this phase, but it's struggling a little bit more than the monetary supply did. But I think we have that choppiness, and then we're going to have a quick explosion. Yes. All right, do you guys have any exciting plans for the 4th? Anything you guys are doing or working on, or anything you guys have plans for? I will be sitting at the computer working the entire time, basically. Gonna go outside when night falls and start looking at some of the fireworks that people in the neighborhood do, but I don't really think we got any solid plans to go anywhere. It should just be a nice, chill, relaxing day. Relaxing, just like working day, but relaxing work, you know, the fun work, the stuff that everyone wishes they could do. I want to buy more of these. I need to buy more. Hempy looking beautiful. That chart's looking really, really primed here. It's holding up super well. Just like Bill. Go for dinner with your chick. Maybe. I'm sure she would love if I took her out to dinner. She's been working like a horse. She needs some time. She needs some relaxation. Yeah, DeSci, not looking super exciting, but that's okay. We're used to that at this point. Let's check out what's moving up. Pengu in the overall market, a slow grind up. I'm curious how that coin's doing. Pengu, I think, is one of those like wild horses. $1 billion market cap. Like, this is in front of retail. That chart's looking gorgeous. That chart looks a lot like Bill's chart, does it not? Around the same time too. This chart looks just like Bill's chart, just much, 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 much bigger. But think about that. Bill had some very similar looking moves. Crazy spike, everything looked like it was gonna go straight up forever. And then everyone got scared out of the market, went lower than it initially was, and then had a good push higher, a little bleed, and now it's having that push higher again. That's actually remarkable how much it looks like Bill's chart. But I'm sure that's a lot of the market right now. I think we'll see all of these go back to all-time highs. So 200% for Pengu, about 1,000% for Bill. All right, I think we're gonna cut the live stream at 34 minutes here. A very quick one, but I just wanted to be live and wish everyone a happy 4th. Didn't have any crazy updates to go on because nobody's really online in this moment. But I also bought these literally just to be live for them. So hopefully you guys appreciated it. Hopefully you guys have some moments with your family and loved ones on this 4th of July. Yeah, keep chilling. Keep chilling, DeSci. Keep moving. Don't stop. Keep building. Keep progressing. Your time is your most valuable asset. Hopefully this was worth investing it into. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. And I will see you all on Monday. Don't get too drunk tonight and be careful around the fireworks.